Upgrades.
Hey, what's going on out there, everybody? This is Sammy Leggett here representing TeamJVS, here to give you guys another movie review straight from Emerald Fennell. I'm talking about SALTBURN. This is a huge cast. This has got Richard E. Grant, Rosamund Pike from Gone Girl, if you haven't seen it, Archie McDowell, if you've seen Gran Turismo, or Carey Mulligan, and of course the amazing Barry Keoghan and Jacob Elordi. Jacob just finished starring in an Elvis, I think it was Priscilla recently. And of course, we've seen Barry recently in last year's The Batman as the Joker. So Barry plays the role of Oliver. Oliver is, he gets to this very high echelon school, and, he seems really smart, very calculative. He hits it off with, or doesn't hit it off, he has a very interesting interaction with Farlow, played by Archie. And I'm trying not to spoil it, but let's just say that you find out very early on that Oliver is very smart. And it seems like he's also got an attachment to Jacob's character, Felix. Like, he's very much so wants to be around him. He wants to be best friends with him. He doesn't seem like he attaches to anybody else very well, but he's willing to do anything and everything to do that. But Archie's character, Farlow, is basically, the best friend of Felix. And so he's not letting anybody else in. And so, long story short, he gets invited to the major estate by Jacob's character, Felix, and he finds the family. And the family of the Coltons, they are very rich. What's the best phrase for them? They're eccentric. They are very intense, and they are very toxically messed up. That's the best way I can kind of put it. And so Oliver is put into the mix of this while at the same as that time trying to befriend and be best friends with his character. First of all, the character dynamics of the family and the friends and Oliver going in is the most fascinating thing about this film. Now, I do think that their approach to set design and colors and metaphors, I think that they do a really good approach to that. So I give credit where credit is due for Emerald, because that approach from an imagery standpoint, from an artistic standpoint, there's certain shots, like there's like a dinner party scene, there's an outdoor birthday party scene where there's like mask and velour, there's great colors, there's great lighting. There are certain scenes and shots that, are taking place in the dark, but you can very well see everything. And I think a part of that also is the sound design. Like, there's never a point where you're not seeing and understanding what's happening, whether you want to see it or not. Now, the other side of that is that this is a very graphically disturbing film. And some of the things that you see that characters do in this is not your cup of tea. This movie is not for everyone. This is very rated R. This is not something that any child over the age of 15 should ever go and see. There's explicit nudity, there's explicit sex scenes, there's some other things that I don't even want to say that I can't believe that they put in this film. But they find ways of executing it anyway. And I do think that they do tip that scale of going a little too far towards the third act of this. But I digress. I'll go into it because I got to give credit where credit's due. This amazing acting from Barry, from Jacob, heck, even Rosamund. Rosamund as Elizabeth, the mother of the family. She's so mean and nasty and yet so proper and thinks everything she's saying is justified. Whereas like Jacob's character, Felix, is a very complicated character. Like, he actually seems like a very good person, but you really can't tell because of the environment that surrounds him. Whereas like Oliver as a character, you're still trying to get your footing with him, but the more you are exposed to the things that he's exposed to and getting a taste of kind of what his subconscious looks like, you start to realize like it's too much. It's way too much. And I give credit where credit's due. Barry's acting is intense. It's not just good, it's intense. Like, some of these scenes are so, I can't believe that. I mean, certain people would never try this. And I mean, this is the same man that was Killing of a Sacred Deer. So I knew, you know, Barry had an amazing future. I mean, he just was nominated last year for the Colin Farrell film. Easily one of the best actors like now. But the entire cast is the same exact way, because even Archie like plays a very maniacal, undercutted character in the mix of a toxic family, which is crazy. How do you do that? Alison Oliver, I think, has some of the most intense scenes, and she does so much with her eyes and her personality that it makes it feel like a vulnerable person, but at the same time, the most malicious out of everybody almost. Carey Mulligan, like, just her being in there is a compliment to the movie, but it's a very specific type of character as well. Richard E. Grant, I can't believe again, another great performance, but it's a reserved one. Like, he doesn't overact, like he does what his job is. And again, I think that the biggest thing about the story for me is the understanding of how certain people have so much high privilege in certain situations that they cannot and will not make sense of reality around them. Because in the second to third act, there's certain things that start to happen, and you're like, wait, y'all read the room. Like, this isn't right. Like, but because of the lifestyle that they lead and because of their internalization of who they are, they can't see the real situation that's happening. Whereas then you got a character like Oliver that on face value looks like a man like you put into a situation, but he has more understanding than all of them. It's such an interesting movie. I would say it's such an interesting read, but it feels like a book. It feels like this could only be contrived from a book. But this is a really intense movie. Well acted, well discovered, but it's not for everybody. And I think on the third act, it goes a little too left, but easily award-winning performances across the board. I'd give this an 8 to an 8.5 out of 10. Let me know what you think about Saltburn. I can't recommend this for everybody, but from me as a critic, I think that they did a really good job with it. It's just not for everybody. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace, people.
Filing out the top of the
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on my mind. Oh Lord.